Another one of those small little jobs. Upside down, inside out, whatever. Brake cleaner. It's just a way of trying to get rid of some of this paint, which has been clear coated, but it's way too 80s for me. And if I can get just that cleared off, maybe that ashtray, then I don't have to repaint everything, because I don't really fancy painting all the grey plastics, because these plastics, if you look, they're actually grey already on the inside, so I don't really want to repaint them. So if I can get the paint off with less hassle, that might be an idea. Dennis suggested using gently, lightly, I'm not sure how you do that, brake cleaner. So I'm going to spray some on there and see what happens if I start wiping here, whether it attacks any of this clear lacquer that's over the top of the paint. Just keep trying for a bit. You can see some of that paint's coming off now, which basically means I'm committed to doing the rest. It's coming off, but not at a massive pace. And this top, that clear lacquer is certainly not moving. Coming bit by bit, but in no great hurry to be taken off either. I wonder if there was ever a grey coloured ashtray that went with the plastics that went with this vehicle. There might be a grey ashtray out there somewhere that exists, who knows. I definitely saw a brown one of these when I was in Rogers up in Arkansas earlier this month. That's no good to me. I don't want to turn the van into a brown interior. It'll just stick to the dull grey. This has clearly not moved at all, so I might end up having to take that off. It unscrews down the bottom here. There's 3 screws, if I remember right, on the hinges. There's 1, 2, and 3. Only small little screws. Take them off and maybe just paint this. Go and have a can matched, colour matched to the actual original grey. You might get somewhere, but this isn't working, that's for sure. One last try, just a little rub. It's not affecting it at all. Maybe I'll get lucky and just use some plastic primer, because I've got plastic primer from the previous job. Just spray that plastic primer, get the colour match, painted and reassemble, nothing more. Right, so much for that. Smallest of episodes, boom boom, done. I still need to address this elephant in the room up here, which you can't see, but that's basically that whole dash that's been cut out. I need to remove this piece and replace it with the part that I got in America, but until I have a replacement for that radio, I won't replace it. I also need to figure out where all the wiring goes. I see this little cap has undone itself, but that's not a problem in itself either, because I have replacements. So yeah, thanks for checking in. The usual story: subscribe, like, click lots of clicks, and I'll bring back some more information once I figured out how to clean this, which is going to be, I suspect, just a repaint job. Have a good evening. What I've done is I've removed the lock. You can't see it, but I've actually put very light Scotch scour oil all over the surface, right around the edges. I'm using that line all the way around to mask. I'll basically be spray painting below that line, because once you look at all the other colors of the plastics, you realize there's such discoloration from wear and tear and just the way things have evolved, that I think right now getting rid of this color is the most important thing, and for the moment just sticking to that bottom surface, which is kind of low traffic as well, is probably the answer. If it's not, then I'll figure it out next time around. But yeah, happy so far. Let's see where we go next with the masking, and then some plastic primer over that. Once the plastic primer has gone off completely, maybe later today or even tomorrow morning, I will start putting the first and second coat of a color matched grey satin finish paint on here. So yeah, thanks for checking in. So let's see if this camera angle works. If you know what I've done, you'd be shocked. Anyway, I'm going to try and spray the edges of the ashtray and put it down, and just spray the outsides. This is grey plastic primer. Hopefully that'll work just as a very simple undercoat. It's windy tonight, so it's a bit breezy. And then basically just not exactly dusting it, but trying to just give it a light coat. That and my hands, of course. I think that is enough. Still got the texture there, which is important. And I'll leave that alone. Just leave it to dry, and hopefully the wind won't lift the cloth off. In fact, you don't need that now. We can just leave it on the primer, on the tin. And I hope that it doesn't get knocked off by the wind. And then we'll go inside and do the inside of this thing. How's that? Not too bad, I suspect. That's the color over the primer. I think it's not too bad, considering what we started with, and also that right around the bottom where there was paint as well. So I think for the moment, keeping my fingers crossed that there's no reactions, but at the moment it doesn't look like there is. The primer that I used suggested that it could be used with a variety of other base paints. So we might have killed the beast, which was this artwork that was on there. I'll leave it alone for 20 minutes, go make myself a coffee and come back and probably give it another light coat, at least 2 or 3 coats ultimately. But I'll do another coat tonight, and then I'll leave everything alone, and tomorrow morning I will come and have a look and hopefully give it one more blast over the top of everything else. That should work. So yeah, happy with that. The ashtray is done as well. Quite happy with that. Just wait for it to go off. As I said before, it's a satin finish, so that should all blend in with the rest of this thing. So as always, These things are a bit of a risk when you sort of start doing them. Take a chance, try and do the logical stuff, make sense to yourself, make sense of what other people teach and tell. I mean, guys like Dennis, who know bodywork, made the suggestions as to the process, and I've done it, and it looks like it's going to work. So hopefully that's one more little job. It's all cosmetic stuff, but it's another little job that people want done. Hello, George. George is kind of watching me. He doesn't like the spraying of the cam. You can see his winter furs coming back. Oh, sorry, mate. You don't like the smell of that. But yeah, he's been sitting watching me as well while I'm working, as usual. So yeah, that's the end of that for the moment, until the second coat goes on. And in between, I'll go and have a coffee quickly, and then I'll go and make some dinner. Thanks for checking in. There you go. I am very pleased with that, as you can see. I still need to find a cigarette light to stick in the hole, but other than that, the finish has come good. That obviously looks a whole lot better than it did before. I'm sure most of you will agree. It's worth the effort. £20 in paint, having that paint matched. The primer was paid for before. So not too bad. I'm pretty pleased with that. Another little improvement